All right, got the engine up on the bench here. And I got all the tins off. Figure you've seen me do that before. I didn't need to go over it again. So one of the reasons I'm pulling all of these tins off here is because of all of the crap that might be in there that we saw when we cleaned it. And not to be disappointed, I mean, you can see, obviously it's not as bad as most. In fact, it's not really bad at all. But I got the oil filter off, got the oil drained out of it, but you can see that there's a plastic bag in here somehow. It's actually melted to the cylinders. So we'll have to get all that out of there. Surprised that didn't catch on fire. And then there's scrap around the spark plugs and everything. I am going to go ahead and clean all this out. I'm not going to take this rear blower housing off. The nice thing about the 317 kit is the fact that this isn't completely rounded out here. So there's a space there, and so all of the debris and everything that normally catches in these blower housings just comes out the bottom, and that's kind of nice to see. The other side is not nearly as dirty. Walk around here, it's probably easier. So the other side's got a little bit of crap right in here, but I think all that will come out. I mean, you can see it's already coming out relatively clean. I'll just get some a screwdriver and stuff, and you can see here's the stuff that we could see is just cottonwood and stuff like that. So overall, you know, I don't think it's necessarily really dirty. I'll go ahead and clean the top of the carburetor off. The carburetor was fine. I don't need to clean it or anything along those lines. You know, I just don't think that this engine was as dirty as it originally appeared. You know, I'll go ahead and get all this crap out of here up front and everything. But I'm going to work on that. It's not going to be perfect. I don't intend for it to be perfect. I did notice that we have a little screw right here. I'll have to figure out. That looks almost like a mounting screw for the fuel pump, but we'll figure that out as we go. So I'm going to get busy with this, and when I get done, we can hopefully chain it up and drop it in the machine. You know, they come back when I'm putting the tins on or something like that. So off we go. All right, so hopefully the time lapse worked. First time I've tried time lapse with this camera. But I got this engine decently clean. It's not 100% clean. I actually ended up, I did end up taking the blower housing off just because it needed to come off. Got a new oil filter put on there. There's no oil in it at the moment. So not too, nothing too terribly concerning there at the moment. But I got all the engine tins cleaned. I don't know if you saw it in the time lapse or not. I mean, obviously it's still dirty. It's going to be dirty. It's never going to be perfectly clean unless I disassemble it to the point where I have to protect the engine openings and stuff like that. But we have to remember we had a working, running, good running engine before we started this process. So there's no reason for me to take the carb off. There's no reason for me to disconnect a bunch of stuff to try to get it that much cleaner. I basically just wanted to get, you know, kind of the top layer of oil and grime off. You can't see it anymore, but basically the bottom 1/3 of that litter box container, or that cat litter container right there, is nothing but just dirt and debris that came off this engine. So, overall, pretty happy with it. It went back together, misplaced a couple screws, and so this is the ground cable that I had. I can't get the screw off. I spent some time thinking about that. You'll probably check it. You'll probably see it in the video. I think I'm just going to put a new ground wire on the machine. But I think what I'm going to do now is get it turned around because the machine is outside right there. But this afternoon at 4:30, this is Sunday, March 19th. This afternoon at 4:30, it was 64 degrees outside, and currently it is 37, and it is about 8 o'clock. So in less than 4 hours, we've fallen from 64 to 37. So I need to get everything inside before everything starts freezing, because we're supposed to get down to like 25 tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and do all that, and I don't know if I'm going to get the engine in tonight. The one thing that I do need to do is I need to take some steel wool, get the shaft all cleaned up. That way it's ready to go in the tractor. I haven't exactly decided how I want to do it yet, but basically I'm going to push all this back in here, get the frame in here, and then I think I'm going to use the X748 with the loader with the forks on it to set the engine down in there. I think that's my plan at the moment. So I did replace the pulse pump fuel line that goes to the crankcase. I also replaced this section right here. This fuel line is newer. So I'm not going to replace this, only because I feel like the more I move stuff around that I don't need to, the more likely that we're going to end up with some type of problem that I don't have already. So no need to make more problems than absolutely necessary. I do see I need to finish hooking up the spring, get the crap out of there. I'll have to do that with this cottonwood was just terrible. You will notice in the video I left this on the table. This is the former line that went to the crankcase. One of the big problems is these lines like to petrify on that nipple that's coming out of the crankcase, and just so hard to get off. A lot of times I have to get it like a hammer and a screwdriver, just kind of flake it off. It's just a pain in the end. So that's just something to be aware of. So let me get everything switched around, and we'll see if we can't get this done tonight. If not, I'm probably going to go ahead and call this an episode anyway. So we'll in the next part, we will get the engine dropped in the frame. That's what our goal is going to be. Thanks for watching.